If you've watched any of my introductory material, you'll know that I direct a senior center here in St. Helena, which has been a really great transition for me from being a minister. I get to do a lot of the things that I loved about being a pastor and kind of skip a lot of the things that I didn't love so much. One of the things that I still get to do is to just help people grapple with life. As you get older, you start to realize just how brief life is. When I was way back in seminary, I remember I used to drive this older couple around, and I remember this one woman was just so bitter about how brief life was. She would look at me and say, "Yeah, you think you're just going to go on and on and on, but man, life goes by like that, and it's just over." And she was just felt like she got gypped. That what's the point of a life that's such a just a brief little flicker in the sun? I have always kind of despised senior centers that pretend like, oh, just come here and man, we'll just stay young forever. We're just gonna get you into some exercise classes and some nutrition classes, and we're just gonna like defeat death here. We don't defeat death. Dying is a part of life, and facing that honestly strikes me as really important. I get to write a little newsletter article for our local paper, the St. Helena Star. And this month, actually, I wrote one that I thought I would just share it with you. You will hear my facing up philosophy, I think, coming out in this. And my hope is that it might give you some way to think about your own death and just how you're going to face that final chapter of life, whether that's a few chapters away from you or whether you're in it. So here it is. It's called The Finish Line. Rianda House is a lively place where even a young person might complain about the brisk pace. If you doubt this, just try keeping up with Kathy Carrick's exercise class, or Becky Jo Peterson's Zumba, or Evan Massaro's men's fitness. Ever try to play bridge? Talk about stretching your brain. Or jump in with the gifted writers and chefs and artists and linguists and philanthropists and community activists who are doing the best work of their lives. Rianda House has done a pretty good job of getting beyond the senior center stigma, the idea that senior centers are where you go and find hapless people huddled in corners and discuss medications and gripe about things. At Rianda House, you're more likely to be left in the dust than to sit in a corner gathering dust. But I still run across people who take offense when I suggest that they participate at Rianda House. They give me a hurt look, as if to say, "Rianda House? Surely it hasn't come to that." They take my invitation as an insult. By inviting them to Rianda House, I have labeled them old. Their tactic is to avoid the senior center in order to avoid becoming seniors. To attend Rianda House is to throw in the towel, to abandon their youth. Our allergic reaction to growing old is deeply entrenched in our culture. It's a seed sown by giant industries that reap enormous profit from fertilizing our fear of aging. This makes us eager to swallow their pills and buy their miracle products. We badly need to change the way we view approaching life's end. Runners don't slow down as they approach the finish line. They give it all they've got, even if their muscles are screaming at them. They know that how they finish is the most important part of the race. It's the same with a good book. The closer we get to the end, the harder it is to put down. We stay up into the wee hours of the morning to finish. The ending is the best part. The difference is that after we run a race, we can run again. And when we finish a book, we can start another. The end of life isn't like this. It looks final, at least on the surface. There are many ideas about this, of course. Christians believe in a resurrection. Atheists take comfort in being part of a vast universe and being made of stardust. Buddhists embrace impermanence and suggest meditating on two horrors, the horror of dying and the horror of never dying. Whatever view you take on the afterlife, it doesn't change the facts. How you finish your life matters. You may not like the idea of a finish line, but have you considered the alternative? Imagine you're in a race. The starting gun goes off and you start your sprint. As the race progresses, you realize something awful. There's no finish line. I hope you like running in circles. Or imagine sitting down to read a book. It draws you in. You turn the pages. But they go on and on and on. A book with no ending would be deeply unsatisfying. There's no getting around it. In our lives on this little blue ball that we call Earth, endings are as essential and as important as beginnings. When you come to Rianda House, you won't find a bunch of people who have thrown in the towel. Quite the opposite. You'll find people who refuse to have an allergic reaction to aging. You'll meet some of the most inspirational people you have ever known. People who are finishing well, running hard, celebrating life, all the way to the finish line. So I hope that gives you a little perspective, a little hope. I mean, it definitely reflects the way I'm approaching this final chapter of my life. I don't know what's next. And honestly, I feel more at peace with being honest about that and just saying that than I ever felt when I used to pretend like I did know that, that my Christian beliefs, that those were the way that things were going to go down. I don't know what happens after I die. All I know is that I'm alive and that it is glorious to be alive. And like every other thing in nature, I want to live all that I can live. And I want to go hard and celebrate life as long as I have to live it until I reach that finish line. And what's next? Well, I'll find out then.